Hey guys, my name's Nova, this is Film Express, and I'm so excited to be here talking to you today about the absolute smash hit, the most talked about movie of the year, Curry Barker's new horror film, Obsession. Let's dive right in. Guys, I'm so happy to report that this movie was incredible. I loved Obsession way more than I thought I would. Honestly, with every new horror movie, I go in with a little bit of skepticism. Obsession is one of those movies that absolutely lives up to the hype, and every single bit of attention this movie is getting is absolutely worth it in my opinion. This movie is breaking all types of records, it's causing all types of discourse, it's making so much money. This is a movie that was made with a budget of $750,000. It has now made over $300 million worldwide. It is the absolute craziest success story of 2026 and one of the craziest success stories in the history of Hollywood cinema. Obsession is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, horror film of the 2020s so far. There's only one or two other films that I would put in the same league, and one of the films that comes to mind is immediately Red Rooms, but that's a little bit of an unconventional choice because it's a psychological thriller more than a conventional horror. But Obsession is a conventional horror by every standard, and it's one of the best I've seen in a very long time. It's so refreshing to see a great new horror film that has a strong visual language, great direction, a strong, unique premise, and executes on everything so well. It's almost like lightning in a bottle. And you know, this is coming from somebody who wasn't overly impressed with Curry Barker's short films. They were solid, I saw some potential there, but as a debut feature, this is an incredible debut in my opinion. It shows a lot of proficiency, it shows a lot of love for the craft, and it shows a lot of care for narrative storytelling and thematically focused storytelling, which I really love. I think Obsession really shines because the direction is so fantastic. Curry Barker is showing that he understands staging, he understands mise-en-scène, and he understands perspective. He uses all these consistently throughout the film to guide our attention in fantastic ways. It almost creates this sense where you can't take your eyes off the screen for a quick second or you'll miss some valuable information that he's presenting you. There's one particular shot of a door that is revealed after a little bit of a discussion between Bear and Nikki, the two main characters. I won't really say too much about the door, but when you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment in particular really struck me as a powerful visual storytelling moment and a solid different cinematic language. It's Curry Barker's own cinematic language, and that's why I love when we get fresh new voices in the industry directing at such a high level. Everything is done with a meticulous care because it's consistently building on the sense of dread and despair, and I think the best horror movies do this, and we really get this sense of despair and dread and how it culminates into this really devastating third act. The third act actually broke my heart in this film. There's moments where you just feel so bad for Nikki. It's very tragic. The story is devastating, but the way Curry Barker kind of shows this with a really honest brutality, he doesn't really flinch away from showing all the really nasty bits of what can happen. That brutality really serves the story in a way, which is, in my opinion, one of the stronger horror screenplays that we've gotten in a very long time, just due to its thematic focus and the richness of its themes. Like, I won't say it's a flawless script. I did find some issues with the film overall, but in my opinion, the way, like I said, it's so brutal and cynical in how it explores these themes, but it explores the themes to their fullest, is why I think Obsession is so good. We get the theme of desire and obsession. Those are very obvious and very surface level. We get the age-old adage of be careful what you wish for, and the story becomes about that overall. But I think the film takes on a few more challenging themes, like the way it portrays guys who are kind of performative in their kindness, but they're hiding like a deeper, darker, disturbing nature underneath. I think that is very well explored with Bear. The film gets so cruel in how it explores this particular theme. It becomes so psychologically layered and unrelenting. It gets to the core of something very creepy. He's puppeteering this woman against her will. He's taking away all of her autonomy. There's a moment in the film where he has that realization where the wish is real, or that he has this power over her. And it's in this moment where the film shows a lot of character agency, where he does something so evil and disturbing to let this kind of fantasy go on. It shows a lot about his character, but it makes a huge statement as well. And this is the type of bold storytelling that I think really sticks with people. It's a moment of character agency where he clearly makes the decision to be a bad person, and it makes it so interesting thematically. There was apparently a push from producers for Curry Barker to make Bear more of a good guy and more of a victim, but he stuck to his guns and he made Bear a bad person, and he made Bear make this active decision to be a despicable creep. This is kind of like a cautionary tale in a sense of be careful what you wish for, how far that can go in the hands of a person as pathetic as Bear. And if he only wished potentially for the confidence to have asked her out or to tell her that he liked her, none of this would have happened. But he made a wish that was detrimental to a woman's autonomy. I think the film explores that theme to its fullest. It's so evil in a sense, and it just makes me think that all the discourse around the film is because of this decision. This creative choice to go in this evil direction with the character is what makes the film stand out so much. The script is not flawless. It does seem like there were things that were cut out for the final product, so it's hard to say whether it's the script or a shortcoming of the editing process and working with producers. But there is one scene in particular where Bear goes to his friend Ian and they make a wish on the one wish willow that kind of goes wrong. I won't really say too much more. Bear and him have this exchange, which is a big moment in the script. It cuts later on to Bear and Nikki having an interaction, and then Ian shows up at Bear's house knocking on the door talking about the wish that had just happened. Ultimately, it's kind of silly because Bear was there, Bear saw it happen, they both had that interaction together. So it either feels like something was missing in the script, or that dialogue could have been a little bit reworked because it kind of feels like a little bit of a gap of logic. That's me being nitpicky. That just always kind of stands out. Every time I watch the movie, that scene, I'm like, what's kind of going on here? But it's not the biggest deal. Ultimately, the film thrives on being creepy. It's making you uncomfortable. You don't know whether you should laugh. You don't know whether to be disturbed. And when you see it with a crowd, you get all these types of reactions where people are laughing uncomfortably or in disbelief at what they're watching. So I do think it's best with the crowd. Watching it with a crowd really enhanced my experience all 3 times that I've seen it. I think there might have been one jump scare overall, but the core cinematic language is of like patience and letting that despair build. And it's also about letting the character moments shine. Ultimately, as good as the writing and the directing is, the film is elevated by a fantastic cast. All 4 of the main actors here are fantastic. It all comes down to Inde Navarrette, who plays Nikki Freeman. She is phenomenal. She is a superstar. Remember the name now. She's going to be a household name in a few years. This was one of the best performances I've seen in a very long time, whether in the horror genre or not. But if I'm being real, this is the best horror performance I've seen since something like Toni Collette in Hereditary. She's doing some amazing things with her physicality. She's doing some amazing things with her facial expressions. I haven't seen anybody kind of go to these lengths in a performance in a very long time. The real thing about a lead performance, as good as it is, it's elevated by the supporting cast, and it really comes down to the other lead, Michael Johnston, who plays Bear. In my opinion, he was so good in this role. It's one of my favorite male performances in a horror film ever because he was so calculated and he played that pathetic guy so well. And in every scene, the way he reacts to Nikki, he's consistently elevating her performance as well. They bounce off each other in a way that is so natural and so fantastic. In my opinion, these are the 2 best performances I've seen in horror films in a very long time. Inde Navarrette is the standout. That's the main attraction. Don't get me wrong. It's also much better because she's working with such a talented actor like Michael Johnston, who did that role so much justice. Everyone in the supporting cast is great. All the actors come together to elevate each scene, elevate their own moments, and elevate Inde Navarrette as Nikki. And he talks about her being nominated for awards. Very possible at this point of the year because there's not much competition. Guys, I loved Obsession. If it's not clear by now, I really enjoyed this film. As a horror film, it did everything right, and it introduced a new cinematic language and a new filmmaker that we should all keep our eyes on with Curry Barker. He's also signed a multi-film, multi-million-dollar deal now to make a few new movies. His next movie is going to be a remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he also has a new movie about ghost hunters on the way. I'm very excited to see what he does next. If he can keep this consistency, he's going to be a name to remember. All in all, guys, I'm very curious to know what you guys thought of Obsession. Am I being too kind on the film? Did you guys hate the movie? Did you guys like the movie? Drop some comments down below. We can talk about it. In the meantime, please like, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell down below. My name's Nova. This is Film Express. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.